Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we're going to be doing the first part of What If Naruto Was a Prodigy. You guys clearly wanted this one from the votes, so this is what we will be doing today. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Before we start this What If, I just want to credit Anime Junkie who made this What If first and really inspired me to do it. Don't worry because my storyline is quite different to his. Naruto is extremely smart, he's up there with Shikamaru, and the only reason everyone is still scared of him is because of the 9 tails inside of him. Naruto, instead of just saying that he will become strong and become Hokage, uses his time when he's lonely to research and train in shinobi skills. When he's still young and in the academy, he starts to become friends with Shikamaru and Choji, and Naruto starts to motivate Shikamaru to train, and Choji wants to learn to become faster and have more stamina. Naruto learns several jutsu by the time of him being enrolled in the academy at 8. He learns these sets of jutsu from Wind, Water and Fire Release. He knows Wind Release Gale Palm, Wind Release Vacuum Sphere. He knows his own abbreviation, the Wind Release Condensed Vacuum Sphere. This is basically the vacuum sphere, but it's translucent and shaped like a bullet. He also knows Wind Release Vacuum Blade, and finally Wind Release Wind Cutter Technique, but he isn't too good at it. He only knows 2 Water Jutsu because he believes that his fighting style isn't complementary to Water style Jutsu. To put it in clearer terms, he likes cutting and blazing techniques that actually hurt the opponent, but Water Jutsu is just used to overwhelm the opponent, to drop their guard. Naruto knows Water Release Raging Waves and Water Release Mist Clone Technique. For his Fire Jutsu, he knows Fire Release Great Fireball Technique, Fire Release Running Fire, and Fire Release Flame Bullet. Choji learns the Great Fireball Technique, and Shikamaru has learned Fire Release Running Fire because it is quite compatible with his Shadow Possession Jutsu. Just saying, because of Naruto, Shikamaru is much less lazy than in the normal series and doesn't find training as that much of a drag. Naruto is at the top of his class, and Naruto is exceptional in Taijutsu, Ninjutsu and in Genjutsu. Naruto is so far up that he's equal to that of Sasuke in Fire Jutsu because he knows Fireball Jutsu like Sasuke, and they learned it at around the same time, 7 to 8 years old. He also knows way more jutsu and possesses 3 chakra natures that he can actively use like he's using normal chakra. Naruto gets to battle Sasuke as an example for the lower level academy members. Naruto smiles because he doesn't get to do this often, then makes his stance. Sasuke does the same, then the battle commences. Naruto blocks the incoming punch from Sasuke and punches him in the face, then gets an uppercut to the chin, but then Naruto snaps back into reality and throws a punch at Sasuke. Sasuke blocks the punch with his forearm, then throws a punch himself. Naruto ducks under it, then jumps back and creates a shadow clone and begins the Wind Release Wind Gale Palm Jutsu. This clone propels Naruto at Sasuke with high speeds, and Naruto finishes it off with a Wind Gale Palm and Sasuke goes flying back. Sasuke eventually gets up and uses the Fireball Jutsu, and Naruto knows Wind is off the table to block this jutsu. Just to weaken the attack, Naruto uses the Water Release Raging Waves Jutsu. Sasuke is surprised that Naruto was able to weaken his technique to the point where it was like the size of a basketball. Naruto then uses the Wind Release Condensed Vacuum Sphere. Sasuke gets hit back, then Naruto uses the Raging Waves Jutsu a second time and almost takes down Sasuke from this attack. Naruto then uses the Water Release Mist Clone Technique and uses the Mist Clone to do his bidding while he waits for the perfect time. He creates wind around his palm for a killer Wind Gale Palm. Naruto's Mist Clone disappears and his chakra returns to himself. Naruto runs down to Sasuke and hits him in the face with the Wind Gale Palm. Sasuke goes flying back, falls on the ground and loses. Naruto takes a big breath and wins the match with little real difficulty. Iruka claps and says phenomenal, just phenomenal. Everyone give a round of applause for Naruto and Sasuke! Naruto feels happy because he's put in so much work and it's finally starting to pay off. Naruto returns home and starts to train with his friends Shikamaru and Choji. Naruto says, "You guys are getting strong, I think it's time if you spar me." Shikamaru quietly grunts and says, "Ha, you think that we're that weak? Us 2 versus you and it won't even be a challenge." Naruto makes his stance and Shikamaru makes a hand sign. Naruto thinks, that hand sign? It's Shadow Possession Jutsu. He jumps back and Choji uses the Fireball Jutsu. Naruto thinks, they're good now. Naruto uses the Raging Waves jutsu and cancels out the fireball, then jumps up and away from the shadow. Naruto uses Wind Release Wind Gale Palm and he creates 4 shadow clones. He uses the same technique that Boruto used against Shizuma. Naruto goes right across the shadow, then palm slams Choji away. Choji does a flip and lands on the ground. Naruto weaves a set of hand signs and creates a mist clone. The mist clone jumps right at Shikamaru, then Shikamaru tries to possess this clone. It turns to water and Naruto jumps away. Naruto smiles and says, "You guys are so good now." Shikamaru uses his time window and possesses Naruto's shadow. Naruto looks up and says, "How?" Shikamaru says, "I move the shadow with every syllable you made to synchronize the sound, suppressing your awareness of it." Naruto looks down and tries to move and he just can't. Naruto tries to take a step with all his willpower but he can't do it. Since of Shikamaru's short time he can use this jutsu, Choji expands his arm and throws a punch. Shikamaru lets go of the shadow because if Shikamaru could use 5 minutes of the jutsu against Hidan Shippuden and now he's 8 years younger, he won't be able to hold it for long at all. Naruto jumps back and sends wind chakra to his hand and uses the Wind Release Wind Gale Palm jutsu. He matches the power and speed of this fist and then Shikamaru throws a flash bomb to stun him. Naruto turns to look away and doesn't get stunned with the flash bomb. Naruto rolls to the side and the fist smashes into the tree next to him. Naruto smiles and says, "You guys did well, but now it's time to end it." Naruto shouts, "Vacuum Sphere!" The jutsu is just enough to take out Shikamaru but Choji tanks it. Naruto sees him run at him but since of Choji being not too fast, Naruto shouts, "Fire release, running fire!" He expands the ring and starts to sweat because he's using a lot of focus and concentration as well as the ring being hot. Choji gets sent back and gets taken out. Naruto annihilates the roaring flames. Choji and Shikamaru get up and are actually quite fatigued. Shikamaru says, "You'll always be ahead of us, won't you?" Naruto says, "Not necessarily." Shikamaru smiles and says, "You know that's not true." Naruto chuckles and says, "Well, I'm off. I'm going to head home now." Choji and Shikamaru do the same. Naruto returns home when he sees a gang of people attacking Hinata. Naruto looks up and says, "Let her go." They look up and say, "Ha, Naruto, the Prodigy has arrived." They run to Naruto and the main kid tries to punch Naruto. Naruto blocks the punch with his forearm, then uses a Wind Gale Palm. The palm slam launches him far away. Naruto stands firm and the two run away from being scared of his power. Another Hyuga member arrives, but then Naruto in this what if acknowledges his loneliness and understands the man's fears, then just walks away. He doesn't know why he's always lonely and everyone tries to distance themselves from him, but he doesn't blame people for acting in this manner. There must be a reason. Naruto, by the time he is 11, is well above his teammates. Naruto, Choji and Shikamaru all pass at the same time as Team Guy, so the two are the spotlight of Konoha's academy students. Naruto has started playing around with some different Fuinjutsu like basic sealing of weapons and multiple weapons. Naruto has learned the lightning chakra nature, but the only thing that he can do with the lightning chakra is infuse it into basic shuriken and kunai. Naruto is gaining now with Choji and Shikamaru and they all are exceptional shinobi. Choji is now much faster and his stamina is at least double of what he has in the series at this time. Choji and Shikamaru now also know the Phoenix Flower Jutsu. They aren't going on missions yet, but they are a stabilized team with Kakashi being the team leader. Naruto and their team go to Hiruzen to give them their ninja profile so they can actively go on missions now. Now Mizuki gets the Scroll of Seals himself a year earlier because I believe that Mizuki wouldn't be that different in power and will. A Chunin walks into the room and shouts, "Someone has stole the Scroll of Seals. He's said to have a flak jacket like us." Hiruzen says, "How convenient. Naruto and your team will solely be given this mission. Kakashi isn't free right now. Return the Scroll of Seals." Naruto nods and says, "Absolutely." The Chunin says, "Third Hokage, do you think they'll be able to handle it? They're just children." Hiruzen says, "We don't have time to be cautious. The criminal wields jutsu that was forbidden by the first Hokage. Give Team 7 the details." The Chunin says, "He was last seen in the forest adjacent to the building, hiding the scroll. He wouldn't have gone too far." Team 7 make their way through the forest and they aren't too good at sensing things. Naruto looks to the side and a huge shuriken goes flying at them. Naruto uses a kunai to change the direction of the shuriken. Naruto says he's near. Naruto throws a flash bomb in the place where the shuriken came from and Shikamaru Shikamaru sends his shadow for Mizuki's. Mizuki gets caught in the shadow possession jutsu and Naruto uses the wind gale palm and then sends Mizuki off of the branch. Choji uses the fireball jutsu but Mizuki dodges it. Naruto drops down to Mizuki, then creates a mist clone. Mizuki throws a shuriken at the mist clone. The mist clone disappears and Naruto thinks he really isn't all that. Naruto summons a katana blade, then blows wind chakra over it using the wind release vacuum blade jutsu. Naruto jumps at Mizuki with the blade and Mizuki jumps back away from the danger. Mizuki throws 4 shuriken but Naruto slices the shuriken in one huge swing. Naruto seals the sword away, then shouts, "Fire release, running fire!" A huge fire ring appears around Naruto, then Shikamaru and Choji jump down onto Mizuki. Choji expands his arm with the partial expansion jutsu and punches Mizuki into the ground. Naruto's running fire circle sends Mizuki back, then Shikamaru possesses his shadow a second and final time. Choji's expanded arm continuously beats down Mizuki and eventually takes him out. Mizuki is unable to resist any longer and Shikamaru grabs the scroll. Team 7 return to Hiruzen's office and Naruto says, "The mission was a success, here is the scroll." Hiruzen gets the scroll and gives him a round of applause and says, "Naruto, Shikamaru, Choji, you guys really outdo yourselves sometime." They all smile and return home from this successful mission. Naruto is in the library reading several jutsu because he wants a new wind release jutsu because he only really uses the wind gale palm. He looks through and finds wind release vacuum wave. This jutsu sends a circular wave of wind out of the body and since it's wind release it's very deadly. Choji learns to easily use partial expansion jutsu and he does so to enhance his overall battle power. Shikamaru now knows earth release rock gun technique and phoenix flower jutsu. Naruto hasn't got the jutsu down yet since it's a B rank jutsu but he's getting there. Team 7 meet up with Kakashi and instead of this training day being the judgment if they make it as Team 7, they've already successfully taken down a rogue Chunin so they really are able to become Genin. Kakashi says, "Now, your first day of training begins." Naruto says, "What will we be doing?" Kakashi says, "There's 2 bells here. If you guys take these 2 bells, then you guys win. The person who doesn't get the bell will lose the match." Choji cracks his knuckles and they all say, "Let's get to work." Just saying, they all haven't had lunch because they already met the previous day. I just didn't really talk about it because it isn't really that significant. Kakashi initiates the bell test. Naruto and Choji first go in for a duo combo. Choji uses the partial expansion jutsu and uses it on Kakashi. Kakashi clashes with the punch by using both his arms to push it back. Naruto jumps out and throws a barrage of wind chakra infused shuriken. Kakashi dodges both the punch and the weaponry barrage by ducking under the fist and stepping forward. Naruto jumps out and creates 5 shadow clones. These shadow clones launch Naruto and another clone at Kakashi. Naruto and this shadow clone use the wind gale palm simultaneously. Kakashi goes flying back because the speed of those clones was something the naked eye can't track. Shikamaru is stood right behind Kakashi and starts to release his shadow to Kakashi's own shadow. Kakashi jumps off of the ground with one small step and now is safe from the shadow possession jutsu. Shikamaru quickly switches to the earth release rock gun technique. Kakashi dodges all of the projectiles flawlessly. The Naruto after this jutsu is finished says, "Wind release vacuum bullet." Kakashi dodges by going under it and Shikamaru just about dodges it as well. Naruto jumps to Shikamaru and so does Choji. They all use a combined fireball jutsu. Kakashi jumps to the side and dodges the attack. Naruto uses a long range wind gale palm and slingshots Kakashi far back. Choji uses partial expansion jutsu on both of his arms and grabs Kakashi. Kakashi can barely move, then Shikamaru throws a flash bomb. Choji lets go like a split second before the flash. Shikamaru catches Kakashi in the shadow possession jutsu. Naruto summons a blade and uses the vacuum blade jutsu. Choji builds up fire chakra, then Naruto swings his sword. Choji launches his fireball and this combined attack sends Kakashi back. Naruto, Shikamaru and Choji run for the bell. Naruto is far ahead of Shikamaru and Choji, then Naruto grabs the bell successfully. Choji isn't as fast as Shikamaru, but then Choji uses partial expansion jutsu and slams Kakashi into the ground with the palm slam by launching his expanded arm at Kakashi. Choji grabs a bell and Shikamaru loses. Naruto and Choji get lunch and Choji munches down on his lunch. Naruto puts his bowl up to Shikamaru and says, "Just have some, I don't like to see my teammates suffer." Shikamaru is elated and eats like half of the whole bowl and Kakashi appears. Kakashi thinks, This team is just phenomenal. He walks in and says, "You guys have exceptional teamwork and skill. I think we'll go on C rank missions from the start because this team can surely handle it." So that will conclude the first part of What If Naruto was a prodigy. The like goal will be 100 likes, just a standard to see if this What If will do well. Please put in the comments anything that you liked or anything that I should improve on for the next part. If you like this What If, then please subscribe and put on post notifications so it tells you when the next part will be uploaded with great accuracy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.